Right, children, we sitting comfortably? Welcome to the Finnish Football Show. My name's Rich Nelson. Today we're going to talk about Finland against Kazakhstan in World Cup qualifying from last Saturday. We're going to have a little look ahead to Finland against France in Lyon on Tuesday evening. Joining me today, we've got Mark Hayton. Hello, Mark.
Moi.
And Keke Mulleri. Hi, Keke.
Terve.
Right. Well, Finland started this part of World Cup qualifying their autumn schedule with a 1-0 win against Kazakhstan on Saturday in Helsinki. Mark, you watched most of the game live. Do you want to have a little run through it for us?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite we won it 1-0. Start at the end, spoil the surprise. But I think Rive returned to the sort of expected back 5-3-2. We had he didn't put Joona Toivio in, so Joona Toivio missed out probably because he played 90 against Wales, and I'd imagine he's probably penciled in to play against France. So he's had a bit of a rest, but it was Arajuri, Väisänen, and O'Shaughnessy in the back three, Alho on the right, Uronen on the left. In the middle, it was Schuller, Taylor, and Oni Valakari. And I've got to say that that midfield three looked really promising. And then up top, it was obviously Pukki and Pohjanpalo. The Kazakhs did what they, what we would have expected them to do. They sat deep, had a low block, they shot from distance a fair bit. They tried to throw a couple of balls in the box, but were generally ineffective. It sort of makes you scratch your head because they did really well against Ukraine twice, and you think, we were thinking going into this game they might be a bit tasty, but I don't think they really properly gave us a scare at any point in the game. First off, we gradually built up pressure, had a couple of half chances, didn't really get a clear breakthrough, and towards the end of the half we had a pretty good penalty shout when Valakari hit a shot and it struck some defender's arm. After the break, it was sort of much the same. I think they had one or two sort of long distance shots, and then we started to kind of grow into the game and go through the gears. And on 60 minutes, the same combination that got us our only points in the Euros connected together to get us a 1-0 advantage in what was ultimately a win. So Jari Uronen down the left, lovely peach of a ball, although he wasn't too happy with it himself. And then a sort of lovely flicked dipping header towards the far post from Jolle. So I thought we looked pretty comfortable throughout.
Yeah. Keke, you watched the game knowing the result, but on catch up. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he was keeping abreast of things that were going on live, but I didn't have the pleasure of watching the game live. So, as you said, Rich, I managed to watch it back, knowing the result, and with being able to relax a little bit and actually sort of have a look at the game. I mean, I agree with Mark. Really, both teams sort of come out the first 10 minutes out the blocks quite quick. I mean, you could see our intent straight from the off. From the kickoff, Arajuri was up in there off, winning a header in the first seconds. I thought, right, here we go. So the intent was there from the off. I mean, I think the Kazakhs had a spell of sort of five, maybe 10 minutes where they had a little bit of possession, and but nothing really to trouble us. The first half sort of petered out a little bit, but as we come back out for the second half, I mean, already in the first half, I think there was a Robert Taylor dig that really sort of deserved a goal. The Kazakh keeper pulled off a pretty decent save. I think he tipped it over the bar, but I think our mate Rob might have deserved a goal for that one. But then Lukeb made his own cracking save on about 47 minutes, where Kazakh guy sort of launched a half volley, and Lukeb just sort of powered it away, and off it went for the corner. But as Mark said, we grew into the game. Really impressed with Rasmus Schuller in the middle there, sort of taking up that role. He was sort of doing that breaking up play, that destroyer sort of thing, and then coming away with the ball and doing those little passes to start us moving forward that we normally see from the likes of Spav and Kamara. So well done Radej. You know what I mean? He slotted in there really, really well. And then we got was it about 56 minutes? We got a little bit of a taste of what was coming. There was that Teemu Pukki miss where I think it might have been easier to score. And if you watch the video back, poor old Rob Taylor, he goes to his knees with his head in his hands, and I think they're all thinking, well, are we ever going to score here? But it was only a couple of minutes later where you say Schuller, he picked up the ball, he sort of played it out wide to Uronen, who crossed it in, and Pukki and Jolle were both there queuing up for the header, slammed on Jolle's head and looped into the net. So, yeah, I mean, after that, it was pretty much us. The Kazakhs were never really going to get back into it, I don't think. And and we saw a few changes late on, and happy to come away with a 1-0 win. But as you said, Mark, the lineup, the formation, the way they came out, really pleased with all of it. I mean, there might be people out there saying that we should be beating teams like Kazakhstan 2, 3, 4, but we've seen from their previous results they weren't to be taken lightly, and we've come away with 3 points, and that's all that matters.
I mean, you look at the game in isolation. I mean, Finland came out with an intent against a team who, on paper and previous form are weaker than them, and it was nice to see them on the front foot. We've talked in previous pods about teams now treating Finland as a threat. Kazakhstan were almost kind of in between camp. They kind of thought, well, Finland are their best chance of points in a tight group, and yet they weren't as defensive as perhaps they could have been. And Finland, from what I saw of the game, looked positive. That midfield that we mentioned already, it looked quite promising. And you've got two up front. Valakari was looking good. Taylor's a bit more attacking as well. Obviously, that'll change for the France game with players coming back. But it was nice to see Finland really sort of grab the ball by the horns a little bit and going forward, especially.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they didn't know what to do with Valakari, and it's a really strange thing now that you sort of sit back and think about it. That we've played this 5-3-2 now for a year and a half, something like that, and we've generally always had two of the three midfielders to be sort of defensive minded or sitting. So I know Glenn likes to get forward, but his natural position tends to be a bit deeper than normal, and he's not he's not like Taylor and Valakari, who just look to get up next to the forwards, and it caused Kazakhstan all kinds of problems. They didn't know whether to drop and track, and Valakari himself had two or three half chances. I think two that got deflected, and it's because the Kazakhs only woke up a little bit late to his position to close him down. So I really liked it. I think the other thing is, we managed that game. This seems to be something you kind of can't knock on wood before we get to the France game, but we managed the game. Like after we scored, we just took the sting out, and they did try a couple of times to get back into it, but we just passed around them. We kept the ball at the back, knocked it forward a bit, started to poke them when we needed to, but then we didn't really have the pressure on us, so we just dropped it back, eased off the pressure when we didn't need to chase. So really good game management.
Yeah, and it's sorry, go on, Keke.
I think what we can say is that, if you listen back to when we were chatting about the Wales game, there was me saying, I think we'll see a bit of Valakari and Taylor in this game, and it just goes to show you why I'm not the Finland football manager and River Kanerva is, because he decided that I'm going to hold on to them and unleash them on Kazakhstan, and it just goes to show you that. I think River really, he's one of them coaches or managers where he looks at the opposition, looks at his squad, realises, what players can do the damage and be most effective, and chooses them to suit the opponent. So yeah, fair play to that,
Yeah, and it's interesting. A couple of facts I picked up over the weekend was that Pohjanpalo has scored Finland's last 4 goals. And as we mentioned already, the goal against Kazakhstan was an assist from Uronen across on the left, and Pohjanpalo headed in on 60 minutes, which is exactly when it happened against Denmark as well, on 60 minutes. That was when he scored. So something to look out for against France. 60 minutes, Uronen gets the ball on the left wing. Put a monkey on it, monster. I mean, look, when you look at that team, and we've praised the midfield, we've praised a lot of the intent of the team. We've got, for France, Glenn Kamara's returning from suspension. and the captain Tim Sparv is he made a very short cameo at the end of the game, and he's been using his platform ahead of the France game to speak his mind. Keke, you wanted to talk about Tim's latest article, should we say?
Yeah, I mean, we're all familiar with Tim's blog, and he does use his position as captain of the national team to air his views and opinions on certain subjects. And this latest article that he's penned has come out on Players Tribune, and Tim's chatting about the human rights issues and the issues of migrant workers in Qatar. I mean, here we are talking about World Cup qualifiers. The World Cup will be played in Qatar. These stadiums are built or almost finished. But as Tim said in his quite heartfelt writing there, the Finland team could be pitching up to play a game of football in stadiums where migrant workers have lost their lives during the construction. I think, do we have to say alleged human rights abuses? I suppose that's what we do have to say. But
no, I think it's well documented that there's Nepalese guys that they've had their passports taken off them, and there's definitely bodies under the stadium. So
I mean, there you go. There are human rights abuses in this country of Qatar, and I think there were questions to be asked when FIFA awarded the World Cup finals to that nation in the first place, but it will go ahead. And I just think Tim Sparv is doing the exact right thing, making sure that these issues are being spoken about and are being brought to the forefront, so that if there is, and Tim says it himself in his writing, if there is any legacy from this World Cup, a lasting legacy. We hear this word all the time thrown about, legacy of the games or legacy of the tournament. If the Qatar regime or state can look at themselves and try and make sure that these workers have the basic human rights in the future, that can be the only good thing that we can hope to come from this. So anyone who's listening, please do yourself a favour, go over to Players Tribune or just Google Players Tribune and Tim Sparv, and you'll be able to read our captain's words. And leader on the pitch, leader off the pitch. What more can you say? He's just the bloke. He's just a giant of a man, I think. So just had to get that in.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that in the show notes. I mean, one of the other things he's talked about, and I won't go into it too much, but a year ago today, as we're recording this, there were Finland played away to Ireland in Dublin, and there was a lot of talk on social media before that game from certain people that they'd support Ireland. Finnish people would support Ireland because the Finland players took the knee, I think, before the previous game against Wales. Obviously, that went really well because Finland won. But Tim talks about that as well, about, this isn't just human rights in Qatar, but it's inequality everywhere, and cites players like Marcus Rashford and Peter Galazzi, the Hungarian goalkeeper, who came out against some of the legislation being passed over there. And it's not new that Tim talks like this, but the fact that he's putting himself out there, using his platform, what influence it'll have, I don't know. But the fact that a current football captain is willing to talk like that, and again, ahead of a tournament that Finland have a chance of playing at. I'm not saying we will, but it's something that he's obviously weighed up and thought, we need to put the spotlight on these things. And to be honest, what better person in Finnish football anyway to do something like that than Tim Sparv?
Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing I can add to that is that, I mean, he's also a massively compelling writer. It's really strange. I mean, for like, if you think about the traditional image of a footballer, I mean, when you read his stuff, it's really like, it really gets to you. Like, he speaks to the issue really, really well, really kind of with an amount of intelligence, but also he can connect to it emotionally. So he's it's the right thing to say, right thing to do. Typical captain move.
Very much. And maybe we'll drop him a message and see after the end of the season if he wants to come back on and have a little chat with all of us this time. And we can, I'm sure we want to plug his role as reading ambassador or something like that. But looking ahead to the France game on Tuesday night, obviously Spav likely to start, I think, with Kamara coming back into the team as well. Group, whatever it is quite tight. There've been a lot of draws. France dropped points again at the weekend, and I think they're feeling the pressure somewhat after a difficult few months. Mark, you normally like to put our previews together. What are you thinking? What does your crystal ball tell you for tomorrow?
Mbappe's out. He's got a calf strain. He's got a calf strain, so he's not going to. He's gone back to PSG to train. He won't make it. The general mood in France is not good. So after they were sort of shunted out of the Euros ignominiously. Yes, that's right, Tim Spav. I've got big words too. No, yeah. After they got knocked out of the Euros, they've struggled to find. They haven't won in 5 games.
Yeah, 5 draws in a row.
5 draws in a row, including the one where they lost on penalties. So I think if there's a time to play them, this is the time. It's always going to be hard because they're still the world champions. But having somebody like Mbappe withdraw, that means they'll, how they're going to set up. It'll be similar to the squad that they put out against us a year ago, right? So it'll be they had Giroud up front then. I think it'll probably be Benzema this time. I think he's back in the squad.
Yeah,
been leading.
Griezmann played in that game, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And we kept him quiet.
Yeah, Griezmann played their most recent fixture, the 1-1 draw with Ukraine. You had Martial and Coman up there as well. So they're well-known players, but I just think we often talk about the team spirit that we have in the Finland camp, and I just don't see that with this France squad. I think maybe too many egos. I don't know.
It's a team of individuals. That's what they always say. But it'll be much the same as it was a year ago, which is that our job is to turn up, frustrate them, watch the crowd turn against them, and then try to make some hay in their half. And I think, they're not. I was chatting with what was the guy's name? A French journalist today called. You're gonna have to give me Jean Saint Marc. That can't be right. That's too French.
Pascal.
Pascal. Yeah, but he was saying that he's not looking. He's not. They're not optimistic. He was writing a piece about Jere Uronen and his move to why French Brest fans should be patient with him. So I was helping him out with that, and he was saying that it could quite easily end up in a sort of stalemate, a 0-0, or Finland could nick it. So then they're not. If France win it, the French aren't thinking that they're going to romp over Finland. They're looking to just try and get through this.
I mean, Lucas Radetsky gave some quotes to Ule this evening, saying basically that the plan is to frustrate them, defend, keep clean sheet, and to get the fans irritated. Get the fans to turn on them, which isn't difficult when it comes to the French national team. And then jokes about just get Oni Valakari with a sighted goal and they'll win. But this is one of those things where we barely talked about the fact that less than a year ago Finland went to Paris with Leon and went to France, beat the world champions 2-0 in the backyard, and that shocked the world really. And again, obviously different situation now. Both sides should put out as full strength teams as they can, and this is a competitive game. But France really have been struggling. Finland haven't had the greatest run of results. I mean, they've only won I think 3 games since that France win. But to go into that group is so tight, and to even go there, and if I'm not saying, but there've been so many draws, put them under a bit of pressure. Especially with the other games going on in the group at the same time and over the autumn, every point, every goal, every clean sheet, that really matters. And we're only 2 months away from the end of qualifying. If we can get France at home in the last game, which I think we're all hoping to be at Monday evening at 9:45, just for the fans, that one. But I think it's. There's a lot on there, and the pressure's really on France here, and Finland. don't. It's awful to say they haven't got anything to lose because it's a game of football, but still going there on the back of a win. I think we'd have all said if they come out of this break, this international window with at least 3 points and a win under their belt, then that's something. And that's come along now.
I mean, I don't know how that friendly win that we all got terribly excited about at the time. What does that do for us? I mean, does it make France worried about us because they know that we've done it before, or does it are all our ace cards that were up our sleeve now firmly out on the table? It's a bit of a tricky one, but yeah, it's an exciting fixture. I think if we are going to do them again, this is the time to play them. I mean, Mark, what do you think about the lineup? Is Rivet? I imagine that we'll see Kamara come straight back in. I mean, does that see Schuller drop out after such a great performance? I suppose it does, but it's a shame for him. But I suppose you would go with Kamara. But does Toivio come back in? I mean, Leo Väisänen had a fantastic game the other night, but I suppose if Toivio and Auriuri are available, you've got to go with your best centre pairing.
Yeah, I think Toivio for sure. He'll come back in. He'll be nailed on. It's an interesting question about Tim Sparv when you think about because I mean he's obviously no spring chicken, fantastic captain, fantastic player. He's not had lots of minutes for Hoyuko. Didn't get lots of minutes before he picked up his knock against Fenerbahce, and he's back fit, which is good. But I don't think it's exactly nailed on that he's gonna get it. He'll be the kind of player that you want, but you're not going to want to stand him up against the likes of Griezmann, Martial. That really, really quick. They're the kind of player that he might kind of take a nick off. Whereas Schuller, he can still guard the space. He can probably keep pace with the lads. His positional play is about as good. His passing's not as good. And the question is going to be, can we unlock that press in the same way that we did against Denmark in the Euros, same way we tried to do against Belgium? For me, it's 50-50 whether he starts.
I think, having seen Sparv play in the away game against Fenerbahce, he was excellent, really, really good. And again, the two games that Mark just mentioned, they were the ones that Sparv started at the Euros, and he didn't start against Russia. So I do wonder if Rive has been a little bit more attacking with having two centre forwards in the team over the last few months, and you wonder if that will continue. I mean, do you drop Pukki, who's on the cusp of breaking the scoring record, or Poyampalo, who's in decent form for the national team? Or do you just play both of them? No.
No, you've got. I mean, surely. I mean, no, you couldn't. I don't think you can. Would he do it? Would he do it? No. I mean, I don't think you could drop either of them at the minute.
Yeah.
I mean, just the way they've been playing.
Yeah. So then, if you had Kamara, Sparv, and Schuller, there's probably leaves too much of a gap between the midfield three and those two. So that's something for him to worry about. But Pukki has, he's so good at pressing the back line and stretching the game that you do hope that that'll be the thing. But certainly all to play for. And I think by the end of this international window, we'll have a much better idea. I mean, some of the statistics that have been doing the rounds, our friends at Grace Note, I think today they worked out that Finland have a 33% chance of finishing in the top two of the group. It was Ukraine prior to the weekend. I think we're second favourites in the group, but Finland, and I think it's 11% to win the group. I say, we never tell me the odds, but in the old Dumb and Dumber tradition, so you're telling me there's a chance. That'll do for me. I think that got plenty of outing during the Euros when there were all the permutations around the best third place team. So any thread that we can cling on to, we'll do exactly that.
Well, I think. Sorry. Yeah, just one thing about that game that was 2 years ago. I mean, it was B team and B team, fair enough. But they had Pogba, Giroud, Griezmann came on, Martial came on, N'Golo Kante came on. They had Sissoko. Okay, he's moved on from the national team. But it wasn't like and they pressed us for 30, 40 minutes, particularly towards the end of the game, and they just couldn't find a way through. So I think same again. I think that same again, and I think we'll do just fine.
Do you, Mark, have any of your other match preview information? You got any information on the officials or where people can watch this game?
So it's going to be on. I think it's going to be on Nellinen again, and Nellinen and Viasat Jalkapallo, so who have split the service. And then you can do it on Ruutu and on Viaplay, the app. I haven't checked. I haven't checked the refs yet. I was too shocked by the Russian ref appointment last time out. I'm too scared. I'm too scared to look it up.
Well, it's on Sky Sports in the UK as well, so that'll be a nice little touch. But it's very exciting. N'Golo Kante's out as well, which will be nice. Obviously, nice to hear these big names. Obviously, shortlisted for European or UEFA Player of the Year, missing out. So. We'll see, and say at the time of recording, the teams will be just about finishing their warm up this time tomorrow. So, we'll say we'll get this out. We'll get producer Mark in from collecting firewood or whatever he's doing today, and we'll.
I think he's still washing his laundry in Seinäjoki's river.
Well.
And if anyone fancies a warm up before the main event tomorrow, the Pikkuhokia, the under-21s are also playing tomorrow. They've got a home game against Croatia, so fresh from their 3-0 away win in Estonia last week, they're out against Croatia tomorrow. So that should whet the appetite before the 18 get going.
Yeah, that's a decent result. It was nice to see many of the names mentioned in our preview doing well and scoring goals as well. So, nice. And say Croatia, I guess, with their senior team in a bit of transition as well. These might be some names to watch. So, fingers crossed. Well, we're going to get ready and see if we can hobble any of the other French players ahead of tomorrow's game. We'll reconvene. And we'll sort out having a bit of a post-mortem of the international break. The Veikkausliiga has been going on. It's been managerial merry-go-round in Veikkausliiga, which is probably where Mark is at the moment.
I can't wait to hear Mark's take on the SECO debacle. It's going to be I'm really fired up for that. It's going to be great.
What's this latest trend with managers announcing that they're leaving 3 months before they actually leave? It's the latest thing to do apparently in Veikkausliiga.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if someone was telling me I was sacked in 3 months. I think I'd be straight on Twitter as well. So.
Hashtag free the Inter/ASICO1. Sales of bed sheets gone for the roof.
Hashtag bring back Shefki.
Oh yes. I mean, we've got enough drama at the moment, haven't we? Anyway, chaps, Mark, where can we find you?
At FC Suomi.
Keke?
You can find me on Twitter at Keke Mülleri, and you can find us on Instagram, Finnish_football_show. So give us a follow over there.
Yeah, and we'll have a match preview up on finishfootballshow.com where you can buy merchandise, look at our previews and see who guessed the right result for the Kazakhstan game, and we'll go from there. But gents, thank you very much, and we'll see you all soon.
Kiitos. Moikka.
Moi moi.